Breathe. Take a slow, deep breath in, and as you exhale, allow the heavy weight of the world to completely fall away from your shoulders. There is a reason the screen in front of you is playing this exact frequency right now. You did not find this space by accident. You were not brought to this precise moment in time by chance, or by luck, or by the random scrolling of a heavy mind. The current of your own profound awareness has gently and inevitably carried you to this very shore. If this transmission has found you, it is a signal. It is a quiet, undeniable bell ringing in the deep. It means that the heavy lifting is finally done. Your old season of forcing, of grasping, of carrying the immense weight of the sky entirely on your own shoulders. That season is beautifully, gracefully coming to an end. The tide is turning naturally and perfectly, exactly as it was always meant to. You have arrived. For so long, you have been the architect of your own existence. You have worked so diligently to understand the vastness of the universe. You have studied the hidden currents. You have built the heavy structures. You have tried with all of your might to shape the massive river of your life using only your bare hands. You have analyzed every passing cloud, believing that if you just understood the weather, you could somehow control the storm. And you have done beautifully. Your dedication has been magnificent. Your unwavering commitment to your own growth has polished your spirit, just as the endless flow of a river polishes a rough stone into something perfectly smooth, perfectly resilient, and perfectly whole. But you are tired. There is a profound, silent exhaustion that comes from believing you must constantly hold the universe together. You have carried the belief that if you stop swimming against the current, if you stop calculating your next move, if you stop holding onto the wheel of your life with a tightly clenched fist, that you will somehow sink beneath the waves. You have believed that peace is something you must fight for, and that harmony is a structure you must violently build. I am here to tell you a very ancient, very quiet truth. A truth that your soul already completely recognizes. You are not the swimmer fighting the current. You are the deep itself. Listen to the stillness beneath my words. Feel the profound, sweeping relief that is available to you right in this very second, simply waiting for your permission to enter. You have officially graduated from the era of force. You no longer need to build or fight or carefully orchestrate every tiny detail of your existence. Look around you. There is absolutely nothing fighting you. The universe is not a machine that is broken. It is not a puzzle that you are failing to solve. The friction you have felt in your life was never an error. It was only the wind. It was the natural resistance that simply polishes the stone. It was the necessary breeze that strengthens the roots of the ancient tree, preparing you to stand completely tall, completely unbothered, and completely deeply rooted in your own undeniable power. It is time to put down the heavy tools. It is time to step out from beneath the passing clouds and remember that you are the vast, silent, untouched sky behind them. The clouds will always come, and the clouds will always go, but the sky is never damaged by the storm. As you listen to the steady, rhythmic cadence of my voice, I want you to notice the physical tension you are carrying in your vessel. Notice the subtle tightening in your jaw. Notice the defensive holding in your chest. Notice the endless, exhausting grip of your mind as it tries to endlessly solve the illusion of tomorrow. Let it go. Give yourself permission right here, right now, in the safety of this shared quiet, to completely exhale. When you clench your fist to hold on to the world, your hand is closed. The universe cannot place anything new, anything beautiful, or anything abundant within a hand that refuses to open. But when you relax, when you finally uncurl your fingers, when you open your hand and simply let the dust settle, The entire cosmos rushes in to fill that open space. Power does not come from the grip. True, absolute power comes from the open hand. This space you have entered is your sanctuary. It is the clearing in the forest. It is the quiet shore after a long voyage. If you feel the profound truth of these words settling deeply into your bones, if you feel the immense relief of finally putting down the weight, I invite you to subscribe to this channel. Let it not just be a click of a button, but a silent, beautiful promise to yourself. A vow to remain gentle, a vow to completely trust the natural turning of the tide and to walk through the rest of your days with an open hand. Like this video to anchor this profound elemental peace deeply into your physical form. And in the comments below, cast your decree into the quiet, unified field. Type the words, "I release the grip." Breathe in the vastness of who you truly are. Exhale the friction of who you thought you had to be. You are entirely safe here. You are completely held by the deep, and your breathtaking journey into absolute effortless flow begins right now. Feel the rhythm of your own breath, slowing down, syncing with the ancient, unhurried pulse of the earth beneath you. There is a profound misunderstanding that has been handed down through the generations of this world. It is a heavy, metallic belief that you must unlearn right now in the safety of this quiet space. The world has taught you that power is loud. It has taught you that power is aggressive, that it requires pushing, striving, and breaking through walls with brute force. You have been conditioned to believe that if you are not sweating, if you are not exhausted, if you are not bleeding from the sheer effort of your journey, then you are not moving forward. This is the illusion of force, and it is the single greatest source of unnecessary friction in your human experience. When you look at the most powerful forces in the known universe, do you see struggle? Look at the vast midnight sky. Do the stars strain to shine? Does the sun calculate the immense effort required to break the horizon every single morning? Does the deep ocean go to war with the shore in order to bring the tide in? No. The turning of the tide is an organic, undeniable momentum that cannot be rushed and cannot be stopped. The bloom of a flower in the spring is not an act of violence. It is an act of total, devastating surrender to the warmth of the sun. The universe does not force. The universe simply flows. And because you are not separate from the universe, because you are the very conscious vessel through which the infinite expresses itself, your natural state is also one of perfect, uninterrupted flow. I want you to imagine a massive, immovable stone resting in the center of a rushing river. If you were to take a heavy iron hammer and strike that stone with all of your might, attempting to break it, what would happen? The impact would send violent, painful shock waves up your arms. Your muscles would tear, your breath would run out, and the hammer itself would likely shatter into pieces against the unyielding surface. The stone remains. The force was met with equal, devastating resistance. For many seasons of your life, this is exactly how you have approached your desires, your healing, and your expansion. You have picked up the heavy hammer of your own willpower. You have tried to force the universe to yield to your specific timeline. You have struck the stone over and over again, exhausting your spirit, depleting your vessel, and wondering why the reality in front of you refuses to break open. Now, look at the water. Observe the profound, absolute mastery of the river. The water never attempts to break the stone with a single violent strike. The water does not carry the burden of anxiety. It does not calculate its approach. It does not stress over the duration of the journey. The water simply encounters the obstacle and effortlessly, beautifully flows around it. The water yields. It takes the shape of whatever it meets. It embraces the stone, cascading over its surface day after day, night after night, guided only by the eternal, undeniable gravity of the earth. And what happens to the immovable stone? Eventually, it yields to the softness of the water. The hardest, most stubborn substance in nature is entirely reshaped, carved, and hollowed out by the gentlest, most yielding force. Force is an illusion that separates you from your natural state. When you push against the current of your life, you create a dam in your own river. You build a wall of friction between yourself and the very things you are calling in. Every time you panic about how a situation will unfold, every time you try to forcefully manipulate the thoughts or actions of others, every time you desperately try to control the weather of your temporary reality, you are picking up the hammer. You are choosing exhaustion over magnetism. But you are a master. And the true master knows that flow is your eternal birthright. When you drop the hammer, you instantly reclaim your power. You step out of the exhausting realm of the architect, and you return to the boundless peace of the deep. You realize that your only true task in this beautiful temporary form is to remain as fluid, as adaptable, and as deeply trusting as the river. Whatever is meant for you cannot be missed. It is already traveling down the mountain, rushing toward you with the inevitability of this spring melt. You do not need to go out and hunt it down. You do not need to fight the forest to find it. You simply need to clear the debris from your own riverbed. You simply need to stop resisting. You simply need to breathe, remain in the center of your own quiet power, and allow the water to rise. Listen closely to the silence between these words. Feel the absolute truth of this sinking deep into your physical vessel, unraveling the tight knots of worry that you have carried for far too long. You are allowed to stop trying so hard. You are allowed to let the profound elemental forces of the universe do the heavy lifting for you. You are allowed to simply be the open river, trusting that the water knows exactly where it is going. Take a slow, intentional breath. Draw the quiet, invisible air deeply into the center of your chest, and as you let it go, simply bring your gentle awareness down into your physical hands. Let us perform a very simple, very ancient physical anchor together right now in the stillness of this exact moment. I want you to gently clench one of your hands into a fist. Squeeze your fingers tightly into your palm. Hold it there. Feel the energy that is required to maintain this shape. Feel the subtle trembling in your muscles, the constriction in your wrist, the sheer, exhausting effort it takes to keep your hand entirely closed off from the air around it. This clenched fist is the physical manifestation of scarcity. It is the bodily expression of fear, of grasping, of believing that you are separate from the infinite abundance of the universe. For so many seasons, you have walked through the world with your energetic hands tightly clenched. You have held on to specific outcomes, specific desires, and specific timelines with a desperate, white-knuckled grip. You have believed that if you relax your hold for even a fraction of a second, everything you have built will slip through your fingers and shatter on the floor. You have gripped the wheel of your life so tightly because you were taught that you must protect yourself from the wind. But look at your clenched fist. Notice the profound limitation of this posture. When your hand is closed, nothing can be taken from you, yes, but equally, and far more devastatingly, absolutely nothing new can be given to you. The universe, in all its vast, overflowing, eternal generosity, cannot place a single drop of new water into a cup that is already sealed shut. It cannot hand you the stars if your fingers are completely locked together. Now, take a deep, slow breath in, and as you exhale, uncurl your fingers. Release the tension entirely. Open your hand, palm facing the sky, and let it rest gently on your lap. Feel the immediate, staggering rush of relief. Feel the soft air touching your skin. Notice how absolutely effortless it is to simply let your hand exist in its natural, open state. This is the posture of the master. This is the profound, quiet dignity of absolute surrender. In the ancient elemental world, surrender is never an act of defeat. It is not giving up. It is the ultimate expression of absolute power and unshakable trust. Look at the ancient oak tree as the autumn wind begins to blow. The tree does not clench its branches. It does not panic and desperately try to glue its dying leaves back onto the wood. It does not fear the coming frost. The tree possesses the profound dignity of surrender. It simply opens its energetic hands and allows the golden leaves to fall silently to the earth. It knows, with absolute, undeniable certainty, that the leaves are not lost. They are simply returning to the soil to nourish the roots, making space for a massive, brilliant new bloom when the spring sun inevitably returns. You are no different. You are a seamless, beautiful extension of this exact same eternal nature. When you walk through your days with an open hand, you are signaling to the deepest currents of the universe that you remember who you are. You are declaring that you are no longer operating from a place of separation or fear. You are the deep, quiet source of all things, and therefore you cannot truly lose anything. If something rests in your open hand and the natural wind of life gently carries it away, the master does not instinctively clench their fist to trap it. The master watches it go with absolute grace. Because the master understands the fundamental law of the deep. Whatever leaves your open hand was only ever a passing cloud. It was heavy, it was temporary, and its departure is entirely necessary to make room for a greater, more brilliant light to enter your vessel. And whatever is truly yours, whatever is born of your exact divine frequency, it will sit calmly in the palm of your open hand, entirely unbothered by the strongest winds, and it will remain there forever, without you ever having to close your fingers to keep it. Breathe this truth into your cells. Let it wash over the exhausted parts of your mind that still believe they must forcefully hold your reality together. You are allowed to release the grip. You are allowed to let people, situations, and old timelines drift away like leaves on a rushing river. You do not need to chase them downstream. You only need to stand tall on the shore, breathing deeply, keeping your hand beautifully, radically open to the magnificent gifts that the universe is bringing down the mountain to replace them. If you are ready to embody this quiet dignity, if you are ready to drop the exhausting posture of the clenched fist and receive the infinite blessings of the open hand, I invite you to subscribe to this channel. Let this simple action be a profound physical anchor, a grounding of this new, effortless frequency into your daily walk. Leave a like on this transmission to signify your total readiness to receive. And in the comments beneath this video, type the words, "My hands are open and I am ready." Let the heavy armor fall to the ground. Let the tight muscles relax. Let your natural magnetic state of pure receptivity take over. You are completely safe to be open. Draw another deep, unhurried breath into your lungs. Feel the quiet rhythm of your own chest rising and falling, matching the eternal, steady tide of the ancient oceans. As you sit here with your hands beautifully and radically open, you may still notice the echoes of the old paradigms swirling within your mind. You may look at your current reality and see a situation that feels clouded. You might be facing a moment of deep confusion, a perceived delay in your journey, or a chapter of your life where the path forward seems entirely obscured by a heavy, impenetrable fog. The old version of you, the exhausted architect, would look at this fog and panic. The architect would believe that confusion is an emergency. They would believe that a lack of clarity means that the system is broken, that they have taken a wrong turn, or that they are somehow failing at the spiritual mechanics of their own existence. But you are no longer the architect. You are the deep. And in the deep, we understand the profound elemental law of the settling dust. I want you to visualize a simple glass of water gathered from a rushing wild river after a heavy spring rain. Because the river has been moving so powerfully, churning up the earth and the clay from the riverbed, the water in the glass is completely dark. It is clouded with thick, heavy sediment. You cannot see through it. It appears murky, chaotic, and completely unresolved. When the human mind encounters a situation like this in life, its immediate conditioned instinct is to aggressively intervene. The mind says, "I must fix this water. I must reach into the glass and manually extract the dirt. I must shake the glass. I must stir it. I must force the clarity to return right this very second." But what happens when you shake a glass of muddy water? What happens when you violently stir it, desperately trying to manipulate the sediment into disappearing? You only make the water darker. You only agitate the dust. You take a temporary state of cloudiness and you prolong it through your own relentless, anxious effort. The sheer force of your intervention is the very thing preventing the clarity you are so desperately seeking. Now consider the absolute genius of the master. Consider the profound, staggering power of stillness. When the master holds a glass of muddy water, they do not panic. They do not view the dark water as an obstacle, a glitch, or a punishment. They simply understand the fundamental nature of the earth. The master knows that the only way to clear the water is to do the one thing the anxious mind is terrified of doing. Absolutely nothing. The master gently, deliberately, sets the glass down on the table, and they step back. They allow the profound, undeniable gravity of the earth to do the heavy lifting. They let the quiet passing of time work its invisible magic. And slowly, beautifully, without a single ounce of human effort or intervention, the heavy sediment naturally begins to sink. The dust drifts down to the bottom, and the water above it becomes absolutely, perfectly, brilliantly crystal clear. Stillness is the great clarifier. Your life, your timeline, and your brilliant mind operate by this exact same profound simplicity. When your circumstances feel confusing, when your thoughts are spinning, when you cannot see the next step on your path, you do not need to mentally shake the glass. You do not need to journal your way out of the fog in a frantic panic. You do not need to forcefully hack your reality or override your current emotions. You simply need to set the glass down. You need to step back. You need to grant yourself the supreme grace of taking a deep breath and letting the dust settle on its own. The confusion you feel is not a permanent state. It is just agitated sediment. The delay you are experiencing is not a denial of your desires. It is simply the universe quietly taking a moment to let the muddy waters of your old timeline settle, so that you can see your beautiful new reality with absolute, undeniable clarity. Do not agitate your own timeline. Do not stir your own fears by constantly checking for results, constantly questioning your worth, or constantly manipulating your environment. Trust the gravity of the universe. Trust that the source energy that breathes life into your lungs knows exactly how to clear the path in front of you. Your only job is to remain still enough to let the clearing happen. Breathe in the cool, clear air of this understanding. Exhale the frantic need to fix what is simply settling. If this profound realization brings a wave of peace to your heavy mind, I invite you to subscribe to this channel. Let this simple action serve as your anchor in the stillness. Let it be a gentle reminder to always set the glass down when the waters of your life become dark. Like this transmission to command your energetic field to remain entirely unbothered. And in the sacred space of the comments below, cast this quiet truth into the collective awareness. Type the words, "I step back and I let the dust settle." Rest in this clarity. You are entirely safe to do nothing right now. The water is clearing all on its own. Draw your awareness entirely into the center of your chest. Do not try to change your breathing just yet. Simply watch it. Observe the rise and the fall of your physical vessel, exactly as you would watch the gentle, rhythmic rising and falling of the ocean tide. You have traveled so far. You have walked through countless seasons, through storms and through droughts, constantly trying to optimize, to heal, to fix, and to force the reality around you into a shape that feels safe. And because you have done this with such profound dedication, you have unknowingly accumulated a staggering amount of invisible weight. I want you to bring your quiet attention to the physical tension you are holding in your body right now, in this exact second. Bring your awareness to the hinges of your jaw. Notice the unconscious grip, the slight clenching of the teeth pressed together in a silent, forgotten defense against the world. Separate them now. Let the lower jaw become entirely heavy. Let the muscles of your face melt, smoothing out like a calm lake at the midnight. Move your gentle attention down into your shoulders. Feel how high they are resting. Feel how they are subtly braced, pulled up toward your ears, as if you are physically trying to hold the sky up to keep it from falling on you. On your next exhale, let the sky go. Let your shoulders drop entirely. Let them sink under the undeniable, comforting gravity of the earth beneath you. Notice the tight, protective armor around your chest and your stomach. You have been breathing shallowly, holding the air in the upper chambers of your lungs, afraid to take up too much space, afraid to fully relax into the moment. Now, we are going to take a journey of profound, staggering relief together. I want you to visualize yourself standing on a quiet, endless dirt path in the middle of an ancient, peaceful forest. The air is cool and thick with the scent of pine and damp earth. And as you stand there, you suddenly become acutely aware of an immense, crushing weight strapped to your back. It is a heavy, woven bag, completely overfilled with stones. Every single stone in that bag is an expectation you have placed upon yourself. Every stone is a timeline you desperately tried to control. Every heavy rock is a person you tried to save, a situation you tried to force, a fear of the future and a regret of the past. You have been carrying this massive, impossible burden for miles. You have carried it for years. You have carried it so long that you forgot it was even there. You simply thought that life was supposed to be this heavy. But you are standing in the quiet of the forest now, and you hear the ancient truth whispering through the trees. You do not have to carry this anymore. It is not yours to carry. Take a deep, slow breath in, filling your lungs entirely, expanding your chest as far as it will comfortably go. Hold that breath at the very top. And as you exhale, I want you to visualize yourself unbuckling the heavy straps from your chest. Let the straps slide off your weary shoulders. Let the massive, heavy bag fall entirely away from your body. Hear the deep, grounding thud as it hits the forest floor. Feel the immediate, staggering, overwhelming rush of relief flood through your entire nervous system. Notice how incredibly light you suddenly feel. You are unburdened. You are untethered. You feel as light as a single golden leaf resting on the surface of a gentle stream. The earth has absorbed the weight. The ground is perfectly capable of holding everything you just dropped. You do not need to look back at the bag. You do not need to categorize the stones. You simply need to step forward entirely free, entirely unbothered, and profoundly empty of all that resistance. Breathe in the cool, clear forest air. Feel it easily reaching the deepest parts of your lungs because there is no more armor restricting your chest. Exhale and let a deep, vibrating wave of relaxation travel from the crown of your head all the way down your spine and out through the soles of your feet. This is your natural state. This absolute, effortless lightness is your birthright. You were never meant to carry the weight of the matrix. You were only ever meant to experience the beauty of the passing clouds. If your body feels lighter, if your mind feels quieter, and if your spirit recognizes the profound truth of this deeply needed rest, I invite you to subscribe to this channel. Let this simple action be your commitment to never picking that heavy bag back up. Leave a like on this transmission to physically anchor this staggering relief into your current timeline. And in the comments below, join the collective frequency by typing in these exact words. I drop the weight and I breathe. Rest here. Float in this perfectly empty space. You have never been more powerful than you are right now, simply breathing with absolutely nothing left to carry. Feel the quiet rhythm of your heart beating in the center of your chest. It is not rushing. It is not anxious. It is simply keeping time with the ancient, unhurried pulse of the earth beneath you. As you rest in this absolute, weightless sanctuary, completely unburdened from the heavy stones of your past, I want you to gently bring your awareness to the days that sit quietly ahead of you. You are about to step back into the visible world. You are about to walk back into the flow of your daily existence, but you are not returning as the exhausted architect. You are not returning as the one who must frantically build and manage and force the pieces of reality together. You are returning as the deep itself. Tomorrow the sun will rise, the winds of the world will inevitably blow, the people around you will continue to rush past, entirely consumed by the illusion of force. You will watch them gripping the wheel of their lives with tightly clenched fists. You will see them striking the immovable stones with their heavy iron hammers, exhausting themselves in a desperate attempt to control the passing clouds. But you will not join them in the storm. When you encounter friction in the days to come, you will no longer perceive it as a threat. You will not view it as a glitch or an obstacle or a punishment from a universe that you must somehow appease. You will simply recognize it as the wind. You will smile, knowing that the wind is only there to naturally polish your stone. It is only there to effortlessly guide your vessel exactly where the current was always meant to take you. If a moment of confusion arises, you will not panic. You will not shake the glass of muddy water. You will remember the profound, staggering power of stillness. You will simply set the glass down, take a slow, deep breath, and let the dust settle entirely on its own. You will walk through your days with the quiet, undeniable dignity of the open hand. You will allow the heavy, temporary things to leave, knowing they are only making room for greater light. You will allow the beautiful, eternal things to arrive, receiving them without ever needing to close your fingers to trap them. You will become completely fluid, completely adaptable, and absolutely magnetic. You are no longer fighting the current. You have remembered that you are the water, and the water always, inevitably, finds its way to the magnificent, boundless ocean. To ensure that this new elemental frequency does not simply fade away when this transmission ends, we must anchor it deeply into your physical reality. We must make a quiet decree into the unified field. I invite you to subscribe to this channel right now. Do not do it out of habit. Let this profound, simple action be a silent, eternal promise to yourself. A vow that you will remain gentle with your own vessel. A vow that you will no longer pick up the heavy tools of the architect and that you will deeply, completely trust the natural turning of the tide. Leave a like on this video to send a physical signal of total receptivity out into the deep. Let it be the opening of your hand to the universe. And finally, to seal this magnificent evolution of your spirit, journey into the sacred space of the comments below. Join the collective frequency of the masters who have also chosen to lay down their burdens today. Cast your simple, profound breath into the vastness by typing these exact words. I release the grip. Type it slowly. Feel the truth of those words radiating from your fingertips and dissolving every last trace of resistance in your life. Breathe in the vast, silent sky. Exhale the passing clouds. You are completely whole. You are entirely effortless, and your beautiful, unburdened journey has just begun. Rest well. The deep is holding you.